Our format is a little bit different this morning, but it's in keeping with the gospel meeting that we've had this last weekend. We are reducing the number of songs. We are starting a few minutes early as we've done. And a brief Lord's Supper talk. We're going to partake of the Lord's Supper, uh, pass around the collection plate, and then the sermon will commence. And then at the end of the sermon, we'll stand and sing one more song, and I'll say a word or two and we'll have a closing prayer. But we were wanting to give all of these speakers a little bit more time in each assembly, and we want to give Reagan a little bit more time this morning. He will be speaking about miracles, biblical miracles. Are they believable? And in this Lord's Supper talk, I've sort of titled it No Miracle. Of all the events that we could be memorializing in the life of Jesus, it's not his greatest miracle that we remember. It's an event that occurred because of a non-miracle. And that's something to really think about. Of all of the things that draw people to Jesus, it's an event that occurred in the absence of a miracle that is the greatest magnet that is there. Jesus himself says in John 12:32, "And I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." He allowed it to happen to him, you know. He says just 2 chapters previous to that in John 10:17 and 18, "For this reason the Father loved me, or loves me, because I lay down my life that I might take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I received from my Father." Didn't have to be. The only reason it happened is because he allowed it to happen. At any moment, he could have pulled the trigger and not done it. When they came to arrest him in John 18, verse 6, he says, "I am he." And the text says they drew back and fell to the ground, as if Jesus is making one final impressive point. You're not arresting me because you're coming with all of these weapons. I'm allowing this to happen. This is going to be a free gift, freely given. We sing the song, "He could have called 10,000 angels," and that's a bit conservative. Matthew 26, verse 53, he urges his apostles not to take up a sword in his defense. He says, "Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at last at once send more than 12 legions of angels?" One legion at full strength in the Roman army was 6,000. 12 legions would represent 72,000. 72,000 angels? One angel slew 185,000 Assyrians in one night. What could 72,000 do? He allowed himself to be taken. He allowed himself to be denigrated and despised and spurned and whipped and beaten and hung up like a piece of meat on a cross. He allowed himself to be mocked. He saved others. Himself, he cannot save. They mocked him on that cross. And still, no miracle. And so he died. A criminal, a victim, powerless until God overturned the verdict with the greatest miracle of all time. But you think about that as we partake of these elements, the greatest thing Jesus did on earth is not performing a miracle, but allowing himself to die for our sins on a cross, to suffer the greatest indignity for you and for me, so that when the earthquake occurs, the sun does not shine, and we see that dying man breathe his last, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. We say with the centurion, truly, this was the Son of God.